Hello and welcome to Quell. We urge you to take a moment to watch this crucial video on security. We have compiled a selection of old and new videos to start a conversation about improving the safety of your staff, visitors, guests, and customers. The ideas presented here can significantly impact the enhancement of security measures within your organization. At Quell, we understand the importance of having a comprehensive security strategy in place. Our videos are designed to equip you with the knowledge and tools needed to elevate safety standards across the board. By investing time in understanding and implementing these practices, you are not only safeguarding your personnel but also creating a secure environment for everyone who interacts with your business. We encourage you to explore our diverse selection of videos tailored to enhance staff safety. Each video is thoughtfully curated to address specific security concerns and offer practical solutions that can be easily implemented. By taking proactive steps towards improving security, you are not only mitigating risks but also demonstrating a commitment to prioritizing the well-being of all individuals associated with your organization. Let's work together to create a safer and more secure environment for everyone. Watch the video, spark a conversation, and embark on a journey towards a more protected future. Thank you and please stay safe. Don't forget to visit us not only here on YouTube, but also at our Quell Training LinkedIn page for more information.
Hello and welcome to Quell. Now in this video I want to talk about security providers. That's you, the client, employing, hiring, or having some security provider, whether that's CCTV or physical security on your specific sites or organizations. You will be amazed the amount of organizations that I am now visiting and having meetings with that have no standing contract with a security provider, which puzzles me, because if I was a security company, I want that security of the contract. And the client that I now work for, they have the, let's just say, the security feel that if anything goes wrong, they can refer to a contract. So if you, as an organization, are going to get a security provider, do not, which some have, ring up your nearest security company and say, you know what, can you supply 10, 20, 30, whatever that is, guards, or can you monitor this site? So let's start off. The first thing is, if you are an organization, is to security view yourself, your organization. What security do you really need? Do you need security guards? Do you need door supervisors? Or do you need CCTV in the context of an organization observing, which I've got on other videos if you want to take a look at. Then you've got a firm hold of what you exactly want, okay? So that when the security companies that you approach, and I would recommend doing a tender process because of certain laws, when you get, let's say, nominate your 3 security companies, make sure that they can achieve what they say they can do. So you give them the parameters of what you want. They then have to prove to you. What I get my clients to do, and I actually go and visit security providers' sites to see and speak to the staff. I do that mystery shopper type thing just to see how the security are. Once you've got that established and that specific security provider has met them guidelines or their expectations of you, it doesn't end there. Once you've got the contracting signed of what you want, what you require, what you expect, say you expect obviously professional standards, you expect procedures, you expect reports, that's when you have the security provider established. You then to keep on top of it, make sure that you get your reports, make sure you check their procedures, and it's all to do with that big picture of insurance. There's so many cases I've dealt with over the years where a serious incident happened on a site, and unfortunately the PSNI or the garage corner are involved, and it's all a finger pointing game. Everyone's pointing fingers at each other. I mean, look at the Manchester Arena. If you read the report, which is obviously assisted in Martin's Law, you will see that there was so many finger pointing at everybody. You did that, and it gets very silly, and I get that myself. I have incidents where there is unfortunately instances of violence on my sites of my clients, and then there's a finger pointing if they haven't followed the proper procedures, but luckily for me we're covered. But I see it on other sites as well where there's an incident and the client and the people running the site or the people managing the site they've just not ticked the right boxes to check with the security company. So if you're looking for a security provider, keep it very simple, as I try to explain. Make sure you know what security you require. Make sure you pick a reputable company, do the tendering process with them all. Then when you've got the contract signed, making sure they have their responsibilities and you have your responsibilities. It doesn't end there, as I've said. Make sure you monitor the security. Because when a serious incident happens, you'd be very surprised how the process is actually done to find out who is to blame. And I am not doing a video on that because it takes too long and it's usually scaremongers a lot of people. So please, when it comes to your security provider, for those clients that follow me and those potential clients that would like to talk to me, please take this subject very serious. And this video is just a very short video on retail security. And I'm directing this more at the management level and those in, shall we say, the position to make decisions and changes. Now, all I want to do is just come up with 4 things I would like you to think about. The first one is, are you confident that you know your staff know what to do in the event of an incident? So are you confident you know what to do in the different levels of, shall we say, theft? If there's a robbery, and if there's any form of inappropriate behaviour, that means someone doing antisocial behaviour, or even, shall we say, under the influence of something. So are you confident they know what to do? The second thing is, I'd like you to just have a check of your CCTV. Have you got enough signage? Have you got it in the right position? Does it work? Is it clear enough? CCTV now is more adaptable, and you see more and more companies that are actually having a remote, in the sense of that when someone presses a button, a staff member, someone in the control room can actually see what's going on and assist if possible. The next thing I'd like you to consider is alarms. I hear all the time about alarms are good and how good alarms can be, and I also hear the dark side as well, as I always joke about, where they don't work or the response by the police or the Garda Síochána are very delayed. But I ask organisations just to see if we can improve on that. Do we give staff lone working devices? Do we give them an app on their phone? Do we give them a standalone device? There's plenty of videos on this channel if you actually go through and have a look. But is it not worth just having a consideration? And plus, a lot of them are a lot cost effective now. Again, if you've got any questions on things like that, get in touch with me. I'll give you the best advice I can. The last thing I'd like you to consider, which is very important I think moving forward now, is when we have to have a lockdown in a shop or a store. Something has got to a point where we have had an incident that is very serious, where we have to lock down the store or the shop. Because if you have a robbery or you have a serious assault or anything like that, and we can go more darker if you want, but I'm sure you can work it out yourself, do we know exactly what to do? And again, it varies from rural to urban environment. And that's it. All I want you to do, if you're in a position that you can make a change and improve the staff safety, just have a think about it. 4 simple things. Are you happy what your staff do in response to an incident? Do you have the right CCTV and does it work? Have you got the right alarm system? And lastly, how could you make sure that if there was a serious incident, you could have a lockdown? Well, CCTV can be primarily used as a deterrent. Preventative measures are put into that bracket. It could be used as evidence, and there's all sorts. It depends on the location you're at, whether you're in the hospitality sector, or you're in retail, or you're in even corporate. But what I want to do is just concentrate on just a few elements of it. Like, for instance, well, why do we actually have it? What is its purpose? I always ask a lot of our clients and new clients, well, okay, you've got CCTV, but why? What are we actually using it for? Then I say, have we got the correct signage? CCTV is a brilliant deterrent. It is. It can deter theft, robbery, or even to the point of even antisocial behaviour. But I also ask one of them questions that a lot of people don't think about sometimes. And that's exactly where we position in the cameras. like at entrances, at exits, over, shall we say, communal areas? Are we looking at areas of the bar or the shop? Are we looking at areas if it's in retail and, like, say, food? I talk a lot about, well, what's the high-end products? Even in grocery stores, I talk a lot about meats, things like that, to the point of what's the expensive items. And then I mix them together, i.e. with the signage and actually the positioning. But what I try to turn around and say is we don't want to turn any store, shop, bar, hotel, anything like that into a fortress or somewhere where it puts people under pressure. But what I do point out is the only people I've experienced that really look at cameras are security guys and girls, and also people that want to commit a crime. I'm just saying. I then ask them to then reflect all them things onto their procedures. Do we have the right procedures for the staff to understand what to do when an incident occurs, or actually how to review it? Then we broaden it on the level of risks or incidents. We then broaden it into, right, do we need remote? So do we need an outside organisation to observe the actual cameras? Or what I do a lot with is when somebody presses the emergency button, that alarm, that somebody on a remote site hears the alarm, activates the cameras and can see what's going on. And a lot of the cameras I'm dealing with now actually have speakers on them, so they can actually speak to members of the public, giving the staff breathing room or room to move around, or shall we say alert somebody else, whatever that might be. There's a plethora of other things that can go on. But CCTV, there's one thing I'd like to leave you with is this. I've been on quite a lot of sites over the years where they've got hundreds of cameras and a lot of them are inactive. And what I've tried to point out is that, yeah, you can use the old theory of let's look at a criminal point of view of why they're going to do a burglary, they're going to do a theft, they're going to do a robbery. But when they notice that a lot of cameras are inactive, they actually know to themselves, well, actually nobody's really watching them or really care about them. So it heightens that level of risk. Hello and welcome. Now what I want to talk about today is the anti-aggression system. I get a lot of messages, direct messages, emails and comments about this system, the anti-aggression system, or other names it can come under. But we, in my profession of workplace violence, know it as the anti-aggression system. Now, I've worked in the security industry for many years. I'm heavily involved in it because security is linked to staff safety. So I work with security companies, I evaluate security companies, I work with my clients for tendering, and obviously the boards to see who would be the successful company to take over. And we have obviously certain standards. The CCTV world in itself, as you will see from past videos, I've been involved with for many years. In my opinion, I work with some of the best CCTV monitoring services around. I do. I think they're amazing. The technology has advanced, where we're looking at more movement cameras, patrol cameras, night vision has gone unbelievable. And now with the anti-aggression, which means that they can talk to somebody and hear what the person is saying, is outstanding. Now, to some cases, and some people will definitely say the decline of physical security, and we can discuss and argue all the time about whose fault it is, because obviously the training changed a lot in the security industry and put people off, licensing put people off. It made it very difficult for the average person sometimes to want to come into the security, and then with low pay. But again, that's a total different video. The anti-aggression system has taken over a lot. And I'm seeing more and more of my clients in both hospitality, retail, even in high-risk roles in reception areas have asked, can I get involved and see what would be the best system to be put in place? Now, what is an anti-aggression system? Well, the easiest way to explain, it's a responsive camera. You put a specific camera within, let's say, a store, and it observes the area of the store. It's not on constantly, and what happens is if the staff member activates what we would call a clicker or a dongle or a button on the counter, even in part of the till area now, it will alert somebody in the control room of a monitoring station. They hear the alarm, it flicks onto their screen, they can then see that specific store and they can see what's going on. Now, depending on how the staff are trained, in the context of signalling the actual monitoring station, it could be hand gestures, it could be doing certain actions, or it could be seen straight away by the person in the monitoring station, seeing that there is an incident. And then the operator, again in the monitor station, will give a set of instructions, actually ask the person to leave, give a description if needed, and they'll inform the Garda Síochána, the PSNI, or if it was on any of England, Scotland or Wales, the police in respective. And then obviously this has been recorded to be used as evidence. It's pretty good. And the response times have come down. I've seen them down to nearly 3 to 5 seconds from when the person has hit the actual button for obviously the operator to respond to that. There's vast more information on the anti-aggression systems. But what I would suggest is this. If you are doing your security review and you realise within obviously your risk assessment that you see this CCTV system will be an advantage to you, even in certain cases I've been told it can cut down on your insurance. I'm just saying, check it out. From what I get from the staff is this is brilliant because it gives them confidence. Lone workers, especially with the devices of a lone working device, have got something to make them feel more safe, and that's where we come in. The staff safety element, because that's all we care about is staff safety.
See, we sit at both ends of the table. We sit at the client side where we actually advise a lot of our clients on the types of security systems they require, whether that's physical security, CCTV, or even sometimes testing the systems to see if they meet the requirement. And that's anything from the monitoring of the CCTV to the response of the alarms to even the activation of what we now refer to as the anti-aggression systems, which we have speakers and two-way types of microphones in the stores, inclusive of hospitality, where we look at devices for man down, which I always carry a device, as I'm sure a lot of you know that now. So there is lots of things that we do with a client, and also on the other end of the table we talk a lot to security companies, and a lot of them are our clients, and they have come to me over the years and said, well, we've lost this contract, why? And why has this gone this way? And why didn't the client tell me this? And what I try to encourage from both sides is that I try to say, well, we need better communication. When I talk to my clients, I ask them a lot to say, okay, you want security services, what standard do you want? What do you need? Do you need physical? Do you need electronic? What do you actually want? I'm not being funny. As I said to them over the years, a security company will promise you the world, and they'll say they'll do everything, and I understand that. But it's the standard of keeping that level high throughout the period of the contract. What has a tendency to happen with a lot of my clients over the years, which has changed, is that they would get a security company in and then they'd forget about it until 3 years later. And then what they do is they then, when it comes up to contract, they'll run around, see all the managers and say, well, what do you think of that? What do you think of that? And they'll all go, it's a load of rubbish, a load of crap. What's the point of having security? And then they cancel the contract. But on the flip side, I also say to the security company, what contact have you got with your clients? Do you keep in touch with them? Do you talk to them? Do you even do spot checks on your own staff? Have you made sure, and I'm sorry to say this, your supervisors and your managers are doing their job? The amount of directors and chief execs I speak to of large security companies who don't know what's going on the ground does shock me, but I understand, because they're there running the company. They're there relying on their staff. They're there not micromanaging. But the amount of contracts that I have seen that have come to an end because of the standards have not met is quite unbelievable. It's the same as the clients as well. I've said to clients, give me your details of what contract you've got with the security company, or what is the agreement. And I've even just finished one recently, a brand new client. I'm very grateful for them. They let me do what I want in that context. And I found out that the security company that was providing them didn't even have insurance. They had insurance, but it wasn't for what they were doing. And therefore, when I explain to the client, well, if you have a serious incident, I'm not being funny, you're going to be carrying the can. They'll just close down. They'll just change your name and move on to something else. And I've proven that over the years. And then on the flip side, I've gone to the actual security companies who are our clients as well and said, look, why don't you speak in more detail to your clients? Check, ask, see if everything's okay, provide the right information. Tell them, show them what your limitations are. And it might seem stupid having this conversation right here, right now, because a lot of you are probably looking at me going, well, I get security and I'm happy with them. That's fine, no problem whatsoever. And you've probably got a great relationship, as everyone keeps telling me. But I always look, I'm sorry to say this, at the side of where there could be a problem. Are they covered? And I'm not being cruel in any context with this video about feedback in security services. What I'm trying to get people to do more and more and more is just check, are they meeting the mark? Clients, check. Make sure you've got everything in order, your paperwork, the standards, everything in order, that you're happy and you're getting the service you require. Don't be shy to tell the security company that, you know what, I'm not happy with A, B, C, and D. And what are you going to do with it? On the flip side, the security companies, please talk to your clients more. A lot don't. I know you're under pressure from actual getting staff at the moment, but the amount of clients that I have from retail, hospitality, even some in housing and definitely some in the corporate, are actually talking to me about cancelling contracts and just going with a camera. And I'm going, but you need this security staff. And they're saying, we're not getting the standard we require. I'm hoping this video has just created a conversation. That's all I'm looking for. Because I rather see staff safe by better communication than deal with incidents. Stay safe whatever you're doing. Thank you for watching. If anything that you think that could be a video that we could make about, or you've even just got a question, please drop us a line, share, link, whatever you want to whatever you want to do, or link with us if needed. Bye for now.